We talked about the reason why we understand the link between fluency and its effect on comprehension, because less fluent readers must focus their attention on word recognition, and so non-fluent readers have insufficient attention to devote to reading comprehension. And fluent readers have automaticity and they can focus their attention on comprehension. So that's the why of why we need to look at fluency and its effect on comprehension. Trawl then talked about the next slip being in word meaning because of the number of abstract, academic and literary words, and then word recognition and spelling. And what falls away is there are less high frequency and common words and less context cues. And some students get through Prep 1-2 relying on these. So we need to be watching for that. We need to be aware of it. And in relation to Trawl's work, we talked about, further, the influence of vocab, that if children are unable to make the transition from stage 2 to stage 3, that really for us translates as the learning to read into the reading to learn stage. And as Trawl says up here, students use reading in the reading to learn stage, students use their reading as a tool for learning. Texts begin to contain new words and ideas beyond their own language and knowledge of the world. And there are a lot of concepts that students may not be familiar with. However, those who are in the reading to learn stage can learn through their reading and make this transition from learning to read to reading to learn. We talked about what we know about teaching vocab, drawing on all the work that you implemented last year, the types of activities you've done, the ways you've gone about it with your staff, the understanding and knowledge of saying a word, using a word orally, understanding a word and its opposites, understanding a word and its analogy, building word lists, all those things you did last year. We took that a little further. Shall I go back? We took that a little further and we looked at how we might go beyond building word definitions into understanding concepts and the importance of building vocab around concept development. And the link to vocab and comprehension, students who lack adequate vocabs or effective word learning strategies struggle to achieve comprehension. And we talked about those 2 points, how we need to develop an adequate vocab through oral language, through our reading, and then also how students need word learning strategies and our need to be explicit in our instruction to support students in both aspects of comprehension in that way. We looked at some of the work from Janet Allen, and I do have a couple of points, key points and quotes up there from her work. Over there on the second chart, many students bring little background knowledge in concepts and related vocab, and how concepts and ideas become more complex in the reading to learn stage. And so we did look at building our repertoire so that our explicit vocab teaching is around concepts, not just word definitions. And the link that research shows good readers generally do have large vocabs. And that link between the more you read, the more you're developing your vocab, and the more you're learning. Okay, we looked at the instructional model of explaining, modelling and scaffolding, followed by opportunities for practice and to apply the model, which is essential for all students. And the really important point that over time the scaffolding is gradually removed. We want to see that release of responsibility for the strategy used to students. And that really applies across all curriculum areas, not just in literacy, not just in reading or writing or oral language, across all curriculum areas. And the important practice for all of us to be sure that there is the gradual shift in responsibility, that we need to set up our learning environment and our choices about instruction around ensuring there is that shift of responsibility. And that's part of our monitoring of students, to see what we're teaching for is actually being applied by them in what students say or what students do, what they're able to produce. As Patrick says to us, it's not what we think they can do, because that's implied knowledge. It's actually what the student can do, what they say, what they produce. We talked about building a learning environment by having purposeful print around our room. After we did our fluency work, we talked about having an anchor chart that related to fluency, so that as we're teaching specific strategies, we're building the environment and we're articulating those learnings continually, and we have the charts there back to refer to. And what that sends, the message that sends to students is our work is valid. These are the things that we value. It supports students in learning to articulate their learnings and to express their understandings. That metacognition,